Okay, well, let me get the link for this. Oops, there we go. See if we can add a caption. Again. I'll have a picture to go with that. Okay, so tweeted, Google Chrome or Google Plus. Post that. And I'm not going to post it to Facebook. Hopefully a couple people will join. Ah, skewed views here. Howdy. Hi, Sholm. Alright, so what we've got going is, you can see my keyboard here. Up on the Prusa Mark II is another skull. And this is a roll of irregular color from Pro Pasta. Basically, it's the colorant ran out and didn't color the roll evenly. So they gave it to me for free, and I've been printing the Barone skulls yesterday and today. Well, actually, most of the week. And up on the other camera is the Zonestar, and that the main view will probably shift quite a bit. So earlier I posted my Zonestar rant, and I got a comment. Let's see, I probably can't see this on here. I can see it in OBS. Let me resize that and put the chat where I can see that, and then I can work it in OBS. And this is going to be hard to see because I don't have the best lighting. Anyway, somebody commented on my YouTube video about how to set the extruder steps for both extruders, because that's the problem that the last problem, I guess, that I was having with the Zonestar. So they pointed me at a Repetier firmware page about the EEPROM, and you can set all these parameters through just M205, 206 commands. So what I'm going to do is pull my extruder, the original stock extruder, off of the Zonestar, and we're going to put my modifications back on that extruder, and then we'll do a calibration test, and we'll see if it'll print something without under extrusion. So, let me get my screwdriver. I think this is way too far away, but get up here a little close. Well, maybe not. Yeah, if I undo my cable, now if I don't trip over it. Maybe set that on that keyboard. I'll probably get my arms in the way anyway. So I've unplugged the extruder, undid this Bowden tube. This extruder is set up with the stock gears on it. And so it's got the big gears on it. And we'll get over here where we got some light. I'll show you that a little bit better. Make sure I keep that cord out of the way where I'm not going to trip on it. these are the big gears that come with it, and it's got a grooved bearing. And then these are the Mark 8 extruder gears, and you can see how much smaller in diameter where the filament's going to go through that is. And that should give us more torque, because what I was running into was that this extruder gear setup was slipping. And I thought that not slipping, skipping. I thought that was what my problem was. Yeah, I don't need that one. With the under extrusion, so I put a new gear on extruder 0 and left this one stock and adjusted that's when I discovered my problem with the fact that the front panel couldn't control extruder 1. Let's see, I had some channel locks. Anyway, that's when I found the problem that I couldn't control the steps per millimeter for extruder 1, and kind of made my rant video because I was ticked off. So, I've made several mods besides the hot end and the fan duct and all my Z and X and Y stops and all that sort of stuff, including these mounts. So the original way this mounted, this was an acrylic piece and the frame sat here, and so the extruder motor sat straight up and down, and that meant the Bowden tube, the filament was feeding up from the bottom and the Bowden tube went straight vertical, but it puts the filament path right in near where the bed is and everything. So I made these little brackets to tip the extruder back and change the filament path a little bit. And then I had to make new arms for the extruder, because when you change this gear diameter, where the hole is that goes through this part that holds the Bowden connector, they don't line up anymore. So this got pretty involved pretty quickly as far as how much stuff I had to mod to get this thing to work. So I pull that off.
I'm gonna go to first things.
Okay.
I put your new shirts and your jeans in the wash. I'll pick them when I come home.
Okay. So just snug that there, because we're going to have to move it once we get everything else put over here. So we're going to move this screw. So this is the little retention screw that holds, there's a spring and a screw that goes in for tensioning the arm. And that just keeps the spring from slipping out of the pocket. Long screws. So all of these green pieces are printed in PETG. They probably don't need to be for this part because it's not near the extruder, not going to get hot. But it's what I printed the new fan mount and shroud and hot end mount and everything else out of. So I thought we'll make everything match. Make it pretty. So that Bowden goes in there. Give it a little more. Don't want to split the plastic. Okay, now we got to move the bearing. That and that are part of the old setup. We got a bearing and a washer. And our new bearing is small, same diameter, but we needed one without the groove in it because now our hub gear has a groove in it. So we'll mount this on the little arm. Okay. And then we got two more screws. So that screw, there's a screw here that pushes on the head of this M5 screw that will let you adjust the tension on this arm. So that one goes through there. Screw it. Let's look at the chat. What else we got? Cool, we got cameras. And Goody's coming to step up her game. Gonna have to learn how to set it up all like this. Nice setup, thanks. Okay. Oh, tornadoes. Yeah, you're down there. My brother's down there in Florida too. Nice weather you're having. So yeah, we got OBS Studio going. The one that's up watching the i3 Mark II is the feed from my Raspberry Pi. And I'll flip over that. Printer big. So we can swap layouts around. Cameras. Anyway, so you can switch around and do your different setups. And I've got audio coming from this camera and the audio from above my workbench. And nobody was complaining about it last time, although it does fade back and forth, and they both have different audio qualities, but that's okay. I don't do much slick editing and make these super professional because it's a hobby. I'm not trying to be a famous YouTuber. Just trying to show you guys stuff. As I learn stuff, you learn stuff. So I was watching, James Print and Play's stream. Sholm knows that. He was there. And thank goodness I subscribed to him and get his alerts, because otherwise I would have missed it. But he was putting marlin on his, which is what I thought I was going to have to do to this thing. But I was a little scared of bricking the control board, and seeing the care and support, massive support and awesome web presence that Zonestar has on their website, I really didn't have high hopes of getting their firmware to work, but he got it working. Awesome. Yay, James. All right, let's put you back up. I'm not going to move the camera this time. I'm just going to zip it up this way. I think you can see that. Kind of. It's a long, whoa, it's a long shot. I'll aim it a little more over that way. Okay. Zonestar and most of these Chinese companies, I think, don't really get it. Well, not most of them, but some of them get it. I mean, Tier Time gets it. They put out the Cetus, and you know, it's kind of a closed system, although there are simplified 3D and Slick 3R and Cura profiles for that machine. But they don't share their firmware. But they have opened it up so that you can use those other pieces of software to slice your files and send G-code straight to it. So, but it's like they want to market this as a full-blown 3D printer, but they sell the Z-Rib board as a standalone product. Well, if you sell a single board computer as a standalone product, you've got to provide people with pinouts and the firmware to make use of that product. So if you're going to do that for a standalone product, why don't you include that with the printer? All right, I'll quit ranting. So we're going to need these loose to begin with. To start our calibration test. When I start the calibration test, I will move you guys over there so you can see kind of what's going on. So right now, what I'm going to do is we're going to mark out 100 millimeters. I kind of have it marked here already on this piece of filament, and I chose yellow because, hey, it's easy to see a Sharpie mark. Yeah, you're good there. Okay, so we're set to millimeters. We're going to mark out 100 millimeters. 100.05, that's pretty darn close for it's got to be better than what it is currently. So mark that. And we'll move that to the far side of the jaw. That from mark to mark should be darn close to 100 millimeters. So we got a good test piece, and I can pretty much see the mark. Well, we'll make that mark all the way around. Bought me a brand new Sharpie. Bought me some brand new X-Acto blades. So if you see the knife come out, there probably is going to be some blood. Because I've already cut myself. You know, those points of those things are really, really sharp. And yeah, I've already stabbed myself once. Alright, let's see if we can get you a good view. And we'll plug in the power for this thing. And once I get this thing kind of tuned up and running, I'm going to print a whole new panel and mounting system that encloses this bottom. And, oops, well, sorry. So once I get this up and running, I will put in a new panel and mounting system for this, the bottom, you know, where it mounts. Take out this acrylic, build a proper mount that will hold this switch and enclose all these wires. I think once this is up and running and I know that it's going to print, I'm going to replace these wires that I complained about overheating with a little bit larger diameter, and I may just go raw wire into these connectors because they seem kind of flaky. So let's see, how are you going to see that? Maybe you get a view of the extrusions there. So, let's see. Whoops. Maybe not. Maybe I got to keep from tripping on the cord. Let's set you over here with the other camera. Sorry. Now it's coming loose. Okay. Here we go. Yeah, you need long cords. Let's see, I could do this. Got some clothespins. Got more clothespins somewhere. There's a whole bag of clothespins right there. There they are. Alright. So, pin this up. So I'm not going to be catching on it, at least not for the first 5 times underneath it. Alright, can you see the extruders? Oh yeah, pretty good. Okay, so we're going to turn it on. Like you might be able to see the extruders, and I can't really read the display. So we're on Repetier 0.92, 0.92. If I go down to calibration, configuration, so I've already stepped up the acceleration on the Z. Steps per millimeter set to 150, and that is for this extruder, which is extruder 0. So let's, whoops, go back, and go back, and got the cable right here. Plug it into its brain. Okay. And then I've got the pronter face over here. Fire up so that I can okay, so we got it online. We're on extruder 0. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, that one's a little tighter, but that's okay. Alright, so we'll feed this up through there until we get to mark at the bottom edge of the mark is at the top edge of the Bowden tube. And so we're going to, we got 100 millimeters already. I want to say extrude, and it's a going. And show them this heat. Cool. Show them back. Got an Ender 3 coming tomorrow. Good. Good deal. All right. So if I got my extruder steps set right, we should be right to the top of the mark. Once it stops here. Still going. It's hard to see, I know. Okay, so you can barely see the mark come out the top there. So that one is saved with the right extruder step. So now I'm going to put this in extruder 1. And yeah, I know the thing's going to be off a little bit because it kind of squished it in the filament, but it's close enough. Believe me, it's closer than what we're going to get out of this one. So let me go over here, issue a tool 1. So we've got extruder 1 set. And now I'm going to extrude on that one. Let's can see that. Still focus there. Right. Okay. So you can tell that it's going really slow. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a nice setup where I can share my screen because I'm working on a laptop over here. I've got a desktop computer over on the table over behind me. I wish I had a better setup, but that means I got to clean my garage, and that would take a while. Okay. Still moving, it's still moving. Maybe someday I'll be organized. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Yeah, that's what I forgot to do. I forgot to take the drug screws on that extruder. Surprised it actually fed through there correctly. Alright, well, we're short, so if we measure from the bottom of the mark to the top of the, oops, do that. From the bottom of the mark to the top of the Bowden connector, I'm getting roughly 51, 52 millimeters. That's not good. Let me pull this out. Shut this off. Pull this plug, because I can't get to it because of where it's at. It's way too high. But this is such a tall printer too. It's way taller than my Prusa. And it won't fit on my bench because I've got a model railroad bench that goes over top of my workbench. And my work light's there. So let me make sure that this is lined up. So what I'm doing is I'm looking through the hole. Bowden hole, and see if the extruder gears line up. I did a pretty good job of that. this guy back up here. So the other thing that I modified was where I placed the extruders, because originally they had one extruder at this end of the frame and one extruder way over there on that end of the frame, and then the display right in the middle between them. It just makes your filament path so wacky. Okay, it's back on. Plug this back in. Alright, so now, turn it back on. I'm not even going to move the camera because I'm sure you will not get the be able to read the screen over there. But what we've got is an M205. M205? Yeah, so we're setting an M205. Oops. I'm going to get into the text box here. And what I'm looking for should be M300, which the default, so I've got that one set to 150. And the second extruder is 300 parameter. It's set to 75, which is what this one was set to stock from the front end. So now we're supposed to do an M206 T3 P300 and X of 150. Okay, so if we do a M205, 300 is now 150. So we're going to shut this off. Turn it back on. Okay, when it comes up, it says we're good. Says we're good. We'll issue an M205 again, and we'll read the M300 or the 300 state. Yes. So that means that if I issue a T1 over here and put my filament back in, set it right there. Yeah, that's good. Then we do an extrude of 100 millimeters. Goes. Sorry, it's wiggling around a little bit because of the cruise over here printing. But we should get the same amount, and it ought to be a lot closer. When I did this with the stock gears, with those set to 75 steps, it was close, but I was only getting 95 millimeters instead of 100 with the stock gear, so it was totally under extruding. close. Can't imagine why one would be that much different from the other. 99.05. So that means we're only off by just a little bit. We'll leave it there. Now that we know it works, I can fine tune it a little later. Okay, so let me get rid of some rotten filament here. Set up. That's yellow. Yellow, cyan, and magenta. Add in the colors. So now we move the camera again. Set this up. Want the blue, yellow. Okay. So yellow, I don't care which extruder is what. Oops. Let's snip the end of this off. Let's get it started in there. Cyan, I should say. Cyan. Angle on that. Come on. There we go. And now, let's get the camera where you can see what else is happening down at the working end. See if we can get it down that far. Maybe. We'll do a little closer over there. Okay. So the crazy, so this is a E3D Cyclops. And the crazy thing about this hot end is that you have to always have two filaments in it to be able to use it. And you have to prime both sides at the same time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the yellow all the way down. And so yellow is on our left in hot end on extruder 1. The blue, or the cyan is on the right. Extruder 0. Okay. So let's go quick settings, preheat PLA. What? No, that's right. It doesn't change menus back when you change the setting. You gotta hit back. So it's warming up. And what I'm going to do over here is I know, so you have virtual extruders in this software, in this firmware. So you've got tool 0, which would be our cyan on the right hand side, and you've got, let's see here, so you got the cyan, tool 0 on the right hand side, tool 1 is on the left hand side. You can swap those around however you want, but you also have tool 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. They skip tool 3 or tool 2 because the Z-Rip board has provision for up to 3 extruders. So skip that one, but the other tool numbers 3 through 11 give you proportionally more from each of these 2 extruders as you go up. So you start tool 1 would be full extruder 1. Tool 0 is full extruder 0. Tool 3 is 90% tool 1, 10% tool 0, and so on and so forth. So issuing a tool 7 to this makes it engage both extruders at the same rate. And so now when I hit a prime, because we should be at temp, 225, I want 10, it's set. And we're at 180. Give it a little bit more. 210 may sound hot, but that's okay. I want it to flow really freely when I get ready to prime it. So we're at 198. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that or not. It's get my crazy arm over here where you might be able to see what's going on. More back this way. There we go. So you probably can't see the nozzle really good. There. So try and focus on it. There we go. That's better. Okay, so now we're to temp. We're going to hit a 100mm extrude. And it's purging the old cake that I had in there. Well, I lost my tweezers. They're behind my camera here. Sorry. Yeah, stay focused there. All right. So it looks like we're getting a pretty clean purge, and if you look, you can't, your guys aren't going to be able to see it, but if you're watching the filament, the left half is yellow and the right half is the cyan. It's pretty cool. So let's pull that out of there. Let me move you guys yet again. And we're going to replace some tape and hope that after all my wrangling around with this thing, the bed's still up. Now, I'm not going to put the BuildTak on quite yet, because I'd rather not waste a sheet of BuildTak on a printer that may not get used. But we'll see. I have hopes. I have high hopes that this will work. Trying to do this and work around the camera is always challenging. That's one of the reasons why I don't do a lot of editing, because I'm not going to do multiple takes, because it would take me forever to get projects done. So, sorry about that. Okay, we got tape down. Let's see about printing something. So I got a file, and what they've got is the discolored pig. So let's see if the discolored pig will go. Temperature on the bed's a little high. Let's see if I... Okay. It's moving. So this, if you watch, well, see how fast the Z is homing? That's not controlled by the acceleration, but now that I have this whole chart of repetier codes, they list Z-axis homing feed rate is one of the things that I can change, and I think I will. Because really that is way too slow. Alright, so we're going. And we're not. This may take a couple tries, guys. Okay, I'm going to stop that. card, stop print, yes. Okay. Position. I wish it had a, when you stop this, that it would do like the Prusa does and raise up and move out of the way. Okay, so we got a goober there. Bring down the bed about a quarter turn. And we're going to hit print file. Discolored pig again. Should pick something simpler, but I don't have anything set up right now that's an easier print. So I printed this pig once before. You watched my other video, and he didn't turn out so hot. It turned out to be half a pig. But I have printed it before and got it to print successfully. Let's switch here to Cetus. So there's what the little discolored pig looks like, but you can see it's a lot of red and not so much white because the white was under extruding, and I was here for the whole print, and I kept cranking up the modifier to feed filament through there to get him to print. What kind of cameras am I using? I've got like a Logitech, like a C720 or something like that is this camera. The camera that is up there watching the Prusa Mark II, the one with the purple skull in it, that is a Logitech C290 or something like that. And then the one that's watching the Zonestar is a Microsoft Live Cam, I think. Yeah. Microsoft Live Cam, what does it say? Autofocus, widescreen. I don't know, it comes up as a Live Cam. Basically, my wife works for a company that gets used computers and computer peripherals, printers, fax machines, all that sort of stuff. And I told her to keep a lookout for webcams when they came in and they didn't want to resell them or whatever. So she got me a couple, and they're just like whatever brand, whatever mix, and I just brought them home and plugged them in, and if the Windows recognized them, then and I could get video without loading the driver, then they're good to go. Plug them into the Raspberry Pi. If the Raspberry Pi MPEG streamer sees them, then they're good to go. So they're just kind of a hodgepodge mix of, oops, let's go wide position fast. I think I'm going to spread some glue stick. This is not sticking very well. I'm just going to do it real quick where the little piggy's going to be. Oh, back. File. All right. Got coming a Raspberry Pi. Yep. Oh, cool. I can. What is it? I can HR9. Well, I don't. The Raspberry Pi that I'm using to stream this is set up with Octoprint, and so it's just the Pi, it's not a Pi camera, it's the webcam. But I was using that with my M3D micro, and as long as the camera works with it, there's really nothing to set up. You just do the standard installation of Octopi, and you're good to go. Basically, you just connect to it through a web browser, and in OBS, I just told it that it's a source, a web source, and it brings the stream into OBS and restreams it. The nice thing about that is that you're using the Raspberry Pi to do the encoding of the stream, so you can have multiple cameras and not increase your CPU load. So that is a big bonus. Okay, we're ready to go. It does increase your network traffic, but I don't really care about the network traffic. I don't have my Octoprint set up so that I can look at it from outside the house. I just haven't dug that deep into it to get that set up. I would like to, but and now that if I got 4 printers, because I have a Cetus, MK2, and MK3, and if the Zonestar starts working, I'm going to want some way to monitor all these guys. And Octoprint is great, and Raspberry Pis are great. Now, I have seen somebody set up Raspberry Pis as a TV broadcaster. They were hooking up USB TV tuner cards to it. Oops, sorry. There we go. We're getting a layer there. Oh, it's a little far away. Maybe we can save it. Let's see. So the first layer is probably going to come out a little messy, but I think it's sticking. You guys probably aren't going to see much until the layer height gets up there. Wish I had some better light. Well, maybe I can do that. Hang on. I can position this pretty much anywhere I want. Get you right down on the deck. Oh yeah, you're looking under there. Yeah. And then if I shine the light in there. light. Kind of. You see it in there? Hey, can I see it in there? Well, it's kicking out something. I have a feeling it's the supports. Nope, it's at 1 foot. Okay. Well, now that I've adjusted it a little better, we'll try it again. Stop. Yes. Position. Z fast. Y fast. So, yeah, it didn't quite squish down enough, but really, really close. Really close. Had I gotten to it, gotten that adjusted a little sooner, probably would have gone. Okay, let's go back. Let's put the file. Make our disco pig again. Shot anyway. Focus. So if you guys are wondering what I'm using for camera setup, it's a photodiox arm mounted to, well, this is mounted on a mag base, and this one's just mounted on a steel block with a 1/4-20 hole in it, so I can move them all around and position them where I want. It works pretty good. Let's see. Right about there. Alright, come on. Come on, baby. Give us a nice first layer. Okay. Oh. You guys see under there? Probably not. It's so hard to get a camera set up to see underneath there. So one of the things I did on my i3 Mark II, if you look right here, there's a camera. It's an endoscope mounted right there, and you can pull up a view of watching right at the hot end. Unfortunately, because of the lighting situation, It's not a great shot, but it does let you see what's going on. Maybe you guys can see better from over here. You kind of see it going down. I got a blob on the first little foot. Back over here. There you go. That's a little better. Underneath got the stuff, so lots of fun. Yeah, the endoscope thing, I have it hooked up to broadcast. I can't fit it into the OBS unless I plug it into my computer that I'm using to stream with. It is plugged in. I can plug it into the laptop, and it will just give you a quick view of what's going on and let you see how the print's progressing and that kind of stuff. Hey, that looks like a pretty good first layer. Wish the focus on that stupid camera would stay in focus. Maybe if I aimed it up a little more, might be picking up. Too much of the foreground or too close. No. There we go. That's a little better, I guess. Maybe. Maybe not. So it looks like it's putting down pretty good layers. We probably won't know for another half hour if that's going to actually color shift, but we'll know. We'll let it go about 20 or 30 layers and see if it's actually building a fairly decent print. You can see by the there's support in the middle between the legs for his little belly to sit on, and those are laying down pretty nice. So this little pig should be cyan at the bottom and then kind of turn green and fade to yellow at the top. Might be kind of cool looking little pig. I wish they would have provided the model, but what they're doing with this, so I mentioned the virtual extruders before, which only gives you 10 levels. You also have an M163 command, I think it is, where you can tell the mixing ratio in percentages. So instead of just 10 or 12 steps from one extruder to the next, you can specify it in 1% increments all the way through the print. It won't do it automatically. It's not, I don't know of any slicers that will do that for you automatically, but it is a kind of a cool feature that you can, if you edit your G code, you can step through it every second or third or whatever layer, however high the thing is, and slowly change the filament percentages. You can go one way or up and back or whatever. And our little bed sheet, I left it out here. I'll be right back. Okay. Whoa. Oh, that's really close. Okay. Nope, not that one. I guess I gotta go to this one. So this was the variegated pig that I last printed after I messed with it, and you can see that it delaminated and it was way under extruding at the top. So, but this little benchy actually turned out pretty nice. I mean, it's stringy, but one of the reasons why this benchy printed so well is that it's the two-color model, but let's see if we can flip this around where you can get some light on it. It's a two-color model, but I printed it without a purge tower. Come on. Oh, jeez. Okay, so while it doesn't have really clean color changes, it printed fairly well and it covers up. You still get a color change, but it printed fairly well and covers up most of the under extrusion issues. And you can see that the motion system actually produces, there you are, a really nice, a really pretty decent looking little model. If I can get the retraction and get the flow rates going, this wouldn't be a bad printer. But man, Zonestar, you gotta ship it with software, ship it with all the parts, number one, and ship it with proper calibration, number two. I mean, it's just ridiculous. All right, Shom, thanks for joining me. Let's see you later. Oh, let's put this back where you can see everything going. I'll probably cut the stream short. How long have we been going for? An hour? Holy mackerel. Well, I'll tell you what, guys. I'm going to let this print, the little piggy, finish. Since nobody's watching, I'll probably end the stream and I'll post some pictures of it up on Twitter and Facebook. And we'll catch you guys later. Thanks for joining me.